This evening on It's Happening Out. What is gay? Are we more than just drama, drinks, and dicks? Gay Republicans. Why do they exist anyway? Go Purple, National Spirit Day, standing up to bullying. Special guest Aaron Phoenix. Special guest Joe Brookman. Special guest Roger Roa. Featuring Napoleon Plays. DJ Diva Power Infinity. And Al Ferguson.
Welcome, everybody, to It's Happening Out, America's most popular live gay talk show. Yay! We're coming to you from the gayest place on planet Earth, Wilton Manors, Florida.
Amen.
We want to remind you, and we thank you for joining us, that this is a live show, so anything could happen. This is not scripted. This is not rehearsed. You're painfully going to learn that, and anything could happen here tonight. Tonight we're going to bring you conversation that we think you're going to find very interesting. It's going to be about politics and current events and pop culture and whimsical, humorous things, and we're even going to play some games. We're going to entertain you, and we hope to inform you and educate you, and I've got a lot of talented guys around me that are going to do it. Remember, I told you, this is a live show and anything could happen.
We want to make sure you're paying attention.
We've got lots of people around the country and really now all over the world that are moderating chat rooms and they're sharing the video, and we're very excited that you joined us. And in fact, we are so excited, we have reached a milestone at It's Happening Out. Watch this. Now, we're excited to tell you in that post that last week's show, just our 4th episode, had 126,349 people watch the show, making It's Happening Out the most popular live gay talk show in America. We want to ask that you help us continue that progress. Like our main Facebook page, and tonight, hundreds of people are going to come in and comment as we discuss live. Chris Swarner is here from the production staff that is going to be with us in terms of promoting the conversation, and you can talk with us right along with it. It is very important that we ask you to share our live digital broadcast. Pull out your Facebook page, your mobile phone right now, and open our video broadcast onto your home page. And we are going to share the conversation. So, let's begin. Everybody ready?
Ready.
It's going to be exciting. First, let me tell you again, we introduce our guest host, Aaron Phoenix, a famous transgender activist, and we're very excited to tell you that Aaron is going to be joining the cast as one of our permanent cast members.
I'm very excited.
We also are very happy to introduce somebody that caused a lot of furor last week, and his name is Joe Brookman from the D.C. Republican Executive Committee, and that infamous log cabin Republican. Yes, there is one in America, and that's Joe Brookman. Congratulations. We're also very excited to announce that Joe is also joining the cast of It's Happening Now. All right, let's begin. Lots of things to talk about. First, we want to talk about GLAAD's event. Today is October 18. It is National Spirit Day, and that's GLAAD's anti-bullying initiative for LGBTQ youth. Before we begin, watch this.
Being bullied made me feel worthless.
Scared.
Inferior.
Being bullied made me feel unimportant.
Every year, LGBTQ youth experience bullying and harassment because of our identities.
More than 85% of LGBTQ students report being verbally harassed in schools.
We must take a stand.
I want to create a world where no one is bullied for who they are.
Because LGBTQ youth are unstoppable.
Brave. Resilient.
Beautiful.
Join GLAAD, show your spirit, and go purple on October 18th to take a stand against bullying.
It's a very powerful message and very important at this time in American history. Suicide for gay teenagers is 3 times the national average for their straight counterparts, straight teenagers. And so this initiative is very important. It brings us to the question about National Spirit Day. What does it mean to us to have something like this? And especially, what does it mean to young gay boys and girls across our country?
I just want to jump in, and I think it's important to note that it's LGBT youth or LGBTQ youth, not just gay teenagers. And normally I wouldn't make a big deal about that distinction, but in this case it is a big deal. It's important, especially because we talk about it being 3 times higher, the suicide rate. Of those LGBT teens who are committing suicide or attempting suicide, most of them, believe it or not, are bisexual, or even more of them are transgender. And I think that's really important to note, not to mention kids of color, who are even higher in the rates of attempted suicide. And I actually did a little research on the statistics. 50% of transgender teen boys, who were assigned female at birth, for anyone who's not sure, have attempted suicide in their life.
50%?
50% of teenage boys. And it's a little tough for me to talk about it because I, 15 years ago, was one of those teenage boys. Sorry, I'm usually a little more sure of my speaking here. I don't really remember my prom super well. It wasn't that great. But I will never forget the day that my mom found me in my bedroom after I attempted suicide at 15 years old. It was fairly serious. I, wasn't hospitalized, but I had passed out from blood loss and, not to get graphic, but it was, it was a point in my life when I felt like I was hopeless. I felt like I was alone. I had no one to understand me, no one to really be there for me. And bullying, yes, was a factor, but it wasn't so much about name calling and teasing and shoving kids around. It's not that kind of thing that pushes people to that point of feeling bleak. It's the isolation and being ostracized and feeling like you're
different.
Yeah, feeling like you're other from everybody else. And it's something that I realized as I was thinking about remembering this whole scene from my childhood, that's something we continue to do to each other as adults. And we've talked about that a little bit in the community, how we discriminate against each other and such. But it's crazy to me it's outrageous to me that we continue to we preach about bullying, we preach about, telling our kids not to bully each other, and this causes suicide, but yet we grow up, become adults, and we continue to do the same thing. We don't practice what we preach.
Right from the White House.
Right. Yeah, especially.
I am impressed by what you said, but I came from actually a large family, and I also felt alone.
Right.
And at the age of 15, I was within a hair's breadth of doing the same thing with
Right.
pills. Had I not been in a small house and family running through the house, I would have been in the same place.
Right.
And I've shared that actually with my kids to make sure that as they're growing up and they feel different or they're isolated, it is so easy for us to feel isolated, even in a large family area.
Exactly. Well, and that's kind of my point, is that in this community,
different.
we're surrounded by each other and people who are supposed to get it. But as a trans person, and I know a lot of gay youth have gone through the same thing, but even among gay youth or even among gay adults now, I still a lot of times feel othered. Even among other trans adults, I sometimes feel othered because I'm not the type of man they're used to seeing, or they think that I'm, making something up, or they don't understand genderqueer, or whatever the case is. And it's been really eye-opening to be in the gayest place on earth. And I can't tell you how many people have told me, I don't know any trans people. I've never met a trans person before. I don't have any trans friends. Al, you even said to me that I was your first.
Aaron has been so fascinating to me because I said I don't have any trans friends. and really I consider myself one of the institutional names in America in the
Exactly.
gay community,
Exactly.
and I have no trans friends.
Yeah, and that's,
That was shocking to me because I realized, wait, am I embracing exactly what I've preached so much against?
But then
Let's-
you might have trans friends and not even know it. Going just back through Facebook, I have found a lot of people that identify as being transsexual, and I would have never known, knowing them, that was how they felt, that was their belief, that was
But
who
and
they
that's
were.
kind of the point. You know that your friends are gay or straight. So it's
Sometimes.
to some people it's not important to have others know that they're trans. But the point here is being aware of the issues in the community, within the community, that may be different from yours. Just because we're LGBT doesn't mean we're the same. There have been more trans women murdered in Jacksonville, Florida this year than you have in your friend circle.
Which is not to say much, but I don't know.
It is, though.
No,
it is.
his friend circle.
5 trans women have been killed in Florida this year. 3 just in Jacksonville. That's record breaking.
No,
Last year,
that's
29
important.
trans women were murdered, and that was record breaking. And we are on the path to matching that number again. this
Do
year.
you know any resources that people like? I'm one that does not particularly know a lot of trans groups. I particularly joined one here in South Florida just so I could learn more. Do you know of resources where people can find that information?
Wait. I want to refocus our conversation just a little bit. National Spirit Day is not a focus on the trans community
Right, no.
exclusively. It is focusing in terms of purple. And I should say, all of us here at the table are wearing ribbons right now. And for all of you that are young, gay boys and girls, I call you boys and girls, that feel like you're being bullied, we are wearing these ribbons. People all over the set here at Drink are wearing their ribbons in support of you.
Right, that's
saying
our-
that we're standing up for you against bullying. It's much
It's
much
our
larger.
it's our promise to do better.
I think Spirit Day, it's important because it sends a message of solidarity and acceptance. Just out of curiosity, how many on this panel, when they were kids, got bullied for being gay?
I wasn't out and gay, but I was definitely bullied.
For having a little bit too
Different.
much sugar
Being
in the
different.
tank?
Yep. Being different.
Of course, everybody except for Al.
Yeah, I'm shocked to say I was not bullied. But I think it was because I hid my sexuality so well nobody knew. And because I played football and I was in fraternity and I was in a very masculine set, as a result, I wasn't bullied because of it.
I don't know. I was in varsity sports. I went to a school that was arts oriented. I still came out when I was 15. It was late for that era. But I was bullied by my family. And I love you guys now, but you didn't even realize some of the things that you were doing at that time that were bullying. If I had my hand behind my hip or anything else, it was a moment that I still remember to this day.
Well, I want to zero in again that today is National Spirit Day, and GLAAD is doing a fantastic initiative. Remember, by the way, I told you this is a live show, so anything could happen. But National Spirit Day is very valuable. I want to give you an example. I have it on the table. Kellogg's is one of the national participants in National Spirit Day. And look at this amazing support of the LGBT community. Kellogg's has created a cereal that has just been produced and distributed today. It's called All Together Cereal. And look at this. All of this billion-dollar brand has created all of their characters in one box. And what they have done here is they have said all of their characters should get along together, and Tony the Tiger shouldn't bully Toucan Sam. And what they do here is in one box they put all of the cereals of Kellogg's in one box. It's brilliant, and congratulations, Kellogg's. You give us inspiration. Today is National Spirit Day, and we do that for you. Let's play a game. I want to lighten it up a little. It's a game we play called This or That. We're showing you a little of animation. All of our hosts have got to choose one thing or another, this or the other thing, that, and tell us a little why, or a reason why. If you have viewing parties at home, participate along with us. Get your adult beverage and play right along with us as we do it, this or that. So, everybody ready?
Ready.
The hosts have not seen these questions, so they're hearing them live just as you are. Question number 1, this or that? Dress up and be silly. This, Halloween, or that, Mardi Gras?
Oh, this.
Well,
It's got to be
meaning
Halloween. Well,
Halloween.
it's close.
Okay.
It's fun. It's frivolous.
Frivolous. All right, we're going to talk more about Halloween shortly.
Halloween, you might see dick or nipple. On Mardi Gras, you just see breasts from women, which is, I guess some of you might like that.
You're going to the wrong Mardi Gras parties.
You were definitely going to the wrong Mardi Gras parade.
I hear an invite there.
That's Southern Decadence.
This or that?
Definitely Halloween. You have more options as far as the looks that you can serve and that you can give, as opposed to just
I
wearing
have
tons of
never
beads.
thought about Halloween ever on the look that I can serve. I've never thought about that.
There is a reason.
I'm going to have to agree. Halloween.
Halloween.
Same
Everybody
reasons,
likes
really.
Halloween. Okay. This or that. Question 2. What turns you on more? Someone shirtless or someone bottomless?
Someone shirtless.
Shirtless.
Yes.
More sexy.
To me, yes.
Wait,
Yeah.
wait, who's turned on by Winnie the Pooh? Like, what is that look that you're serving? Like, I don't understand that. Like, pantless is great if you're also naked, but that no.
I don't know. I like a tight ass. Sorry.
Wait, a nice what?
Tight ass.
You like the log cabin Republicans said. My sinuses are clearing as we speak.
I'm gonna say shirtless, honestly. Yeah,
Shirtless.
but as long as there's a little glitter, you know,
So we're
something
all
dressing
saying
it up.
we like less,
No,
and
not-
that becomes sexier?
Well, he
Less
didn't say
clothes.
that.
Oh, well, the majority of us.
You are forgetting the
I wasn't
Republican? How
listening
dare
to
you?
I was
what-
assuming the
okay,
bottom was-
All right. Question
Less.
number 3. Is bigger better? No, not what you think. Tablets or your smartphone? This? Tablets or that? Smartphone.
My smartphone.
Yeah.
Smartphone.
It's a little more convenient to carry around.
Bigger smartphone.
A bigger smartphone. You're not playing the game.
They haven't played the Nintendo Switch. It is the best device that is known to electronics. If you're not playing it, it's a tablet. Play this game. It's the best. It will bond you to anyone you know.
That's
Next-
for my new favorite thing.
Yeah, next question.
That was a year ago.
Hey, I have to tell you, something's going on here at the table. There's a little bitch fest going on behind the scenes. The table just found out moments before we went live, we probably were not going to play my favorite new thing. And Power is throwing a tantrum over it and is trying to force me having it back in. We'll see what happens before the end of the show.
We'll play some Mario Party. You'll feel good later.
Question number 4. Boy, can it suck when the air conditioning goes out. As we found out around the office this week, at It's Happening Out, the production studio lost its air conditioning.
Oh my God.
Wow.
What is worse? No air conditioning, this, no air conditioning in the summer, or that, no heat in the winter?
Air conditioning.
You can't hear the 6th guest or 6th host of this show. It's the people participating in Drink, and there's been unanimous air conditioning.
But let me tell you why.
No
It is
heat.
because you don't want to smell everyone that's around you. Sweat can be great in the bed. Outside of that, I don't want to smell y'all.
Let me
No.
Let me just say, I think
No.
if this show aired out of New York, it might have been a different
I
answer.
was thinking the same thing.
That's
Yeah.
my thing. No heat, man. I gotta keep my feet warm.
Yeah.
For me, it's
Huddle up.
You live in Washington, D.C., so you get cold.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Get you some footy pajamas.
Yeah, okay, all right. Question number 5, and this or
Halloween
that.
gift.
Question 5. Better ancient civilization. This, ancient Greece, or that, ancient Egypt?
Greece.
Ooh,
Ancient
the-
Egypt.
Egypt.
The bar is saying Greece. I'm loving it. Egypt?
I said Egypt.
Egypt? Why?
I think that they were.
It's all the makeup, isn't it?
No, I think that they were. I think that Egypt has a lot of mystery still
Tell
to be
the truth.
uncovered.
It's all the eye makeup, isn't it?
No, girl, don't talk over me. Listen. I said Egypt and I said what I said.
I said what I said. All right. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Egypt. They were very exquisite. They were. I mean, for me, it might be the eye makeup. I'm not gonna lie. It was about the grandeur of it.
This or that? Greece?
Oh, I'm taking Greece.
Greece.
The men with no shirts, no chaps.
They had togas on. You could lift it up. But I mean, in Egypt, they worshipped cats. I could cuddle with kitties all freaking day in Egypt. I'm going there. I'm already going to cuddle.
Wait, you're a pup.
I like kitties. Shut up, okay? I
all
want to
right.
cuddle.
All right.
I won't share my favorite
I just
book
have
then.
to tell you, if you haven't been to Mykonos and the big parties at Mykonos, you would never think about anything ever again. All right. That's our game, this or that. Let's move on. And we prompted this in our opening package. We are doing a political subject tonight, and we call it Gay Republicans. Now, this is the shortest intro ever, because our simple question is, why do they exist anyway? Anybody got any observations?
I do.
Okay, tell us.
Well, basically, it has nothing to do with my sexuality. It has everything to do with constitutional government, fiscal responsibility, and local rule. Those are just key things. The Constitution is all built around local communities having local rule. That's one of the values of Wilton Manor. Us being a community in terms of LGBTQ, we come together and we can make rules and regulations that relate to us as a community, that are most relevant to us as a community, whereas the rest of the United States is not necessarily have the same values or perspective. And that's what local rule is about.
So Wilton
Joe,
Manor is Republican?
No. Well, it could be.
I don't think it could.
Joe, you've been to CPAC.
I have. I have.
Which is I could not buy a ticket to CPAC. We said this. Not that I would.
Wait. What is CPAC?
CPAC is
CPAC is the Conservative Political Action Committee.
It is the most powerful forum in the United States about conservative issues.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and you've been to the Republican National Convention.
And I have been to the Republican
where that guy got elected.
Where Trump got elected.
Yes,
Trump. And we're working on 2020 now.
We're working.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
so
we're working on
a little bit. So
we're working on taking it back.
Think about that. We're working on Trump in 2020. Who agrees with
They're
that?
going to be in 2020.
They are.
Okay, let me give you a couple facts about the convention that in 2016. I was part of the delegation from Washington, D.C. We had 18 delegates going from Washington, D.C. Almost 50% of our delegates were gay. We had the first out lesbian who participated in the platform committee. And while the major networks did not carry it, every major speaker for the entire week brought up LGBTQ rights, and there were standing ovations around
Because they weren't getting the vote.
No,
They weren't getting the LGBT
in
vote.
fairness, this did shock me because when Joe told me this, I did a lot more research on this, and I was really shocked. It's one of the things that we don't hear. There is a pretty sizable number in the gay community that identify as conservative or Republican.
Well, yeah, they'll overlook a little homophobia as long as their candidate's still the right amount of racist.
Right. Yes. That the question. This topic it's as old as what is the meaning of life? Why are they're gay Republicans? Your answer, Joe, would fly with me if we weren't in the time and age and period that we are now. If we were in a John McCain period, I would say, okay, that's understandable. But we are in an age where you have a man that is, forget about his politics, as a man, he is so disgusting that the question is, why would anybody, in this day and age, saying that you are a gay Republican is to me as ridiculous as saying you are like a roach parade. It doesn't make any sense. Or chickens for Colonel Sanders. It really is self-defeating. It's counterproductive.
Did you say chickens for Colonel Sanders?
Cluck, bitch. Cluck, bitch. It don't make any sense to me. So I think that this is a question that I would really like to revisit when we get Trump out of office.
But wait. There's a way to get there with that. Like, I am a registered Republican, technically, and it's because we live in Florida.
You are?
I am a registered Republican. You've heard this before, and it's because in Florida, you don't get to vote in the primaries if you don't register with one party or the other. And that is absolutely ridiculous.
Wait.
Infiltrating.
Napoleon, you're registered as a Republican in Florida. Why?
because I don't want Rick Scott to win. And if I could vote against that, that means that I have
Infiltrating.
That is absurd.
Is it like a Trojan horse?
I have,
snuck in there.
I have no real vote in the Democratic primary. I have an actual say in the Republican primary. And if I have any power in that, then I'm going to do it.
Fascinating.
Absolutely.
I'm going to do that.
But I want to come back for a minute over here to what Power said, because I hear you, but the important things about what this president has done is he's keeping the nation safe. He's dealing with overseas and international relations. He's creating jobs. He's creating jobs. Income is on the rise. Unemployment is down. So we're more secure. Jobs are increasing. He's doing all the things that make this country a great
Well,
country.
actually, Obama created more jobs than Trump, and all Trump is doing is really keeping things on trend. Even Trump can't fuck that up. But you know, my question to you, I really have to ask this: if there was some way to raise Hitler from the grave and have Hitler be the president, and you knew that he was going to do all these great things, would that be okay for you to stand behind a man like that? In other words, does his accomplishments, even if all those were true, does his accomplishments for our country, to you, diminish and negate him as a person? So you can sideswipe and excuse his racism, his homophobia, his bigotry, his xenophobia, his sexism, all that, as long as he's doing what you believe is good for the country.
So he is not homophobic.
He
is not racist.
Okay.
Yes, he absolutely is. Yes, he absolutely is. As the Mexican at the table, I'm going to tell you, yeah, he absolutely is.
Okay.
As the bad hombre,
First of all,
let's get really specific.
I can give you a history lesson starting from the 1970s.
You ask him a question, allow him to answer the question. What's your answer?
We want to be specific. I've known the man since, not known him personally, but from New York. There is nothing racist in him. There's nothing homophobic. He has more LGBTQ people working for him in his enterprises than any other organization or enterprise in the United States.
They're going through training right now.
Huh?
They're
welcome. They're a part of it.
I do find it interesting that somebody that's probably not and probably never will be affected by racism can speak with such a surety that this president, who has done and has exhibited racist behavior dating back to the 70s.
Wait. I want to clarify the observation you've just made. Did you just say, and I'm not sure, so that's why I'm clarifying it. Did you say because he is an older white man that he is talking about support of Donald Trump and conservative issues with Republicans, that's not acceptable because he's not black or Latino?
No, that's not what I said.
Okay.
First of all, I didn't say anything about his age. Next thing, the next thing, I said somebody who is not going to be or has ever been affected by racism can sit here with such a surety. Yes, because you're white. I said that. Just because you're white, you cannot be, you have not been affected by racism. I think it's very interesting that you can say with such a surety that he's never been racist. Meanwhile, those of us that see the things that he has done that we consider racist, because we have experienced that racism, I think are better in a better position to tell you, yes, that's racist. I recognize that because it's happened to me.
So let me ask you a question, okay? Because you're pointing to in the 70s and 80s for him.
Starting.
Not
just no. I'm not pointing to. I'm saying that's the start. Bring it all the way back.
So let me ask you, just because I came out, 6 years ago, and I grew up in the South, in a very conservative space. And 2 years ago, I was watching a documentary on the Log Cabin Republicans on the fights that took place during the Reagan era over the proposition, which they led the defeat of in California. But it was all about educators who were gay not being allowed to teach in schools. And I can tell you for a fact, because I was in the evangelical and in church, I was on the other side of that. Because I was getting ready to raise kids. I was on the other side of that. Now, I didn't understand myself. I didn't understand the gay community. I didn't know anybody that was gay, right? So are you going to call me a racist or a sexist because I didn't know it then in the 80s? Now, even though I've come out and I've changed?
But he hasn't changed.
But he has. But first of all, you are anybody.
In defense, Joe's observation is really interesting to me because he specifically says, "I was this, I am not that. When do I get forgiven?" That's what he just put on the table.
That's right.
And you move it away from that to Donald Trump. His specific point is, "I am not that anymore." And you say,
well, good. I'm glad that you've learned. I'm glad that you've evolved, and I'm glad that you found yourself. That's important.
And I say, you were that. And whether you knew it or not, that still does not excuse the fact that you were that. So basically what I'm saying is, if you were racist and you're saying, well, I didn't know any better. Okay, you didn't know any better, but you're still racist. You're still racist.
Are you going to tag somebody and basically count them out because of something that happened 30 years ago?
If they don't
No,
learn.
no.
Are you going to allow them? Are you going to allow them?
No, I'm not going. I wouldn't do that. No.
Wait. That's where we're going to end this segment. And the reason we're going to end this segment is there is so much interesting conversation to come on this. And what we are going to explore is this broad question. You put lots of interesting things out on the table. Y'all put lots of interesting things out on the table. We're not going to resolve it here. We're going to continue to talk about it.
But we can all feel resolved that Donald Trump with Macaulay Culkin in the 1990s and Home Alone 2, we can all agree to that, right? Is that at least one good thing that we can agree he did?
This
No?
is true.
Yes?
This
No?
is true.
No?
Yes.
Oh, man. No Christmas love here. Jeez, I guess Halloween is it.
I want to say one other thing that's interesting to me. The bar expresses an opinion toward these opinions. The one thing that I do want to voice, and I voice this broadly, and I know all of you agree with me on this, and the fundamental point is it is very brave for you to even sit here, to even express an opinion, and we continue to say that is valuable. Let's move on. Let's lighten this up a little bit, and let's play a game, a new one. We're going to play a real simple game, but I hope it's fun for you. And again, if you're at home, viewing party, play along with us. Let's play our new game, I have never been a fan of. Now, I'm going to ask, I have never been a fan of, somebody tell me.
Johnny Depp. I know everyone loves him, but wearing a hat does not make you an actor. It's not an interesting character choice, and every weird, drunken move that you do does not make you more talented in what you're doing. We don't want to see any more of you, Johnny Depp. It's okay.
Wait, did you just do exactly Johnny Depp in the...
No, I did better than Johnny Depp because I'm an actor. I'm like him.
Oh, damn.
Okay.
I grew up wanting to look like Johnny Depp, though.
I'm sorry.
I'm just finally starting to pull it off a little bit. Does that explain the long hair for everybody now? Or
Yes.
That's interesting.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
never been a fan of...
Britney Spears. I'm sorry, Britney Spears. She just is not. I know, gas. Listen,
gas here.
my token gay cousin.
Is administering oxygen in the corner.
My token gay cousin is a huge Britney Spears fan, and I've teased him about it since we were kids. I just don't get it. I was a Christina Aguilera fan at that time. Thank you for the one Hispanic person in the place who gets it. She's not a singer. Yes, she's an entertainer, but I mean, Power Infinity is more entertaining on a stage than she is. Just saying.
Amen.
Just saying.
I've never been a fan of
Madonna.
Madonna.
Sorry. There's no apology needed. That's the truth.
There is literally gas in this bar. Why is that?
I just don't like her. I
The
don't
material,
enjoy her.
girl, the music you don't like?
Not so much. No, I loved her in Evita, but
There is only one good thing Patti LuPone ever did, and that was Evita. And Madonna killed that.
I've never been a fan of.
I've never been a fan of the word queer.
Never been a fan of.
I've never been a fan of the word queer.
We've thought about this a little bit
Yes.
before.
I don't like the word. I know what it used to mean, and maybe I'm just old school, but for me, the word queer ranks right up there with fag. And taking it back to me is just as ridiculous as saying we're going to take the word fag and make it fabulous. So I just don't like it.
To close our new game, I have never been a fan of This Is Us. I know I'm in the
I
minority,
agree.
but I do not need a drama to just try to make me cry at
I didn't
every
even watch
single
it.
episode,
You don't-
just for the sake of crying.
You don't like looking at Milo Ventimiglia? He's very sexy.
I'm not a fan of this.
I didn't watch it for the same
Never
reason.
seen it.
Okay, we want to move on to our next topic. We want to do a little gay pop culture, and we want to talk about what gay is. Now, this is the first and the most popular gay talk show in America, and we want to explore our culture. There is a gay culture, I hope. So we talk about our gay community. We ask the question about our community: are we just about drama, drinks, and dicks? Are we? What do you think?
No.
We're not?
No, I really do think that is a stereotype that's floated by mainstream society. And I think it's actually, unfortunately, accepted by a lot of gays. Personally, I think more of the uptight ones, but I just think that that is just this idea that is put out that is who we are. And we are so much more than that. We are complex. We are conservatives. We are party boys. We are just your regular, we are country people. We are city people. We are a very complex and diverse group. And for anybody to generalize any group is the basis of prejudice. So that we should never do.
No. I've said this before, I'll say it one more time. Being gay is about being sexually attracted to men as being a man. We are about dicks, asses, chests, eyes, and all of the features that make someone attracted to another male figure. All of those things are true for all people of any variety, but being a gay person means that you are attracted to a guy.
You mean a gay man?
A gay man, being a cisgender, all the politically correct things, I understand, means that you are attracted to other people that identify as men and that you perceive as being men. That is what gay culture is. It is what gayness is. That is literally the only thing that being gay is. There is nothing else. It's just associated with it. I fully disagree with you, Power.
Well, no,
But
because the
but
question
there's a
was,
lot more
are
to
we
that.
drama and drinks as well as dick? So you can't say just because we're attracted to men, that also comes with drama and drinks, because we're not all like that.
Then yes, we're dicks and ass, but all people are drinks and drama.
No, all people are not drinks and drama. My husband is not drinks and drama. You're looking around a bar full of people and saying this is a bar, of course everybody here is going to be drinks, but my husband's not drinks and drama. There's a lot of people that aren't drinks and drama,
There's a
so
lot-
you can't say that.
There's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah,
I
you
think
can't say that.
one of the books that actually is one of my favorite books is called The Velvet Rush, and it goes through from being a young person and being different and feeling shame and isolation to being an adult. And if you read that, it's all of those experiences that we all share with one another. We've all walked through some of those times, being uncomfortable, being different, or having sex and dicks. But there's so much more to the common experience that actually brings us all together with all of our diversity, Power, that I agree with you. But there's so much more to us than just
Well, there
dicks.
are gay men who don't have dicks, first of all. It's just, again, I hate to be the token who has to constantly remind everyone of that. And just because I don't have one doesn't mean I'm not part of this gay community. And doesn't mean that I'm not a gay man either. So I will have to read a little more about that on my own Facebook Live video this week. But in all seriousness, that's, like Power said, it's not all drama, drinks, and dicks because we are all different people. We're almost like regular humans that way, in that there are varieties of us and differences about us.
But you may not have one, but you like dick, yes?
Sure.
Okay,
absolutely.
so then you're involved in the dick conversation.
But you clarified that being gay is about liking men. And if I happen to be attracted to a man who doesn't have a dick, I'm not going to know it when he walks in the bar until it gets time to, go to the bedroom later.
I don't know about other people, but I don't identify you as being a man or not being a man, whether you have a dick or not. I identify you as a man because you identify as a man.
Right.
So,
Well, I understand that, and that thanks, but
and that may have been offensive to you,
A
but
little.
I know probably a very sizable number of our audience would say the exact same thing.
No, I-
Let me rephrase that question because I think it's important. He is saying that he doesn't understand or identify you as a man, but
No,
he
no, no, no,
does-
no.
Wait.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Okay, let's not pick my words apart. But rather that it is the opposite, that you identify yourself that way.
No,
What
I
do
don't
you
think
think
that's
about
quite
that?
what he meant. I
Okay,
think, and
all right.
because I've heard it before, and I know where you're coming from. Love from across the table, because I know what you're saying. I think that you would not walk into a place and see me walking down the street and think that's a man. You identify me as a man because I told you I am a man. Am I understanding that pretty much?
No, I could identify you. Firstly, it's your facial hair that would make me identify you as a man.
Right.
Firstly, but as a whole, I would identify you as a man. One, because I know you and I've gotten to know you. Two, because of where we would interact at all in gay Wilton Manors. I would see you in places that I see gay men.
Right.
But three, because of the energy that you present. And while that might not be the same for all gay men, it is something that I pick up on. And ultimately, I don't identify even as a gay man. I identify as someone into people.
So you basically just kind of answered the question then, that it's not about the dick that you're into, or not about the dick that you notice about someone in general in the first place. You might be attracted to that. Yes, that's your sexual preference as far as genitalia goes, but you're going to be first attracted to or interested in or put off by someone's energy, the way that they interact
Exactly.
in the
I
world.
want big dick energy. That's exactly what we said last
There you go.
That's
Big
what
dick
we're saying
energy.
right now. That's absolutely what I want.
Right.
I want that energy, and I want it in my mouth.
And Napoleon.
Same, girl, same.
Okay.
Napoleon is referring to what Aaron told us about last week about his big dick energy.
In my new favorite thing.
One observation as I close this segment about gay. This is a fundamental question for me.
Blur it out.
An older gay guy. I represent many of you on this panel differently than the rest of you. I have moved down here to Wilton Manors. I've been here now 3 weeks, and I have to tell you, it is a very lonely experience here, which is surprising that I would say that. And what I'm finding is, and I even posted about this, how is it possible to be lonely in the most densely populated gay community probably in America? There's probably 100,000 gay people, mostly men, within a 15-mile radius of this location at Drink. And it's lonely for me. And the reason I think it is lonely for me is because I am completely surrounded by drama, drinks, and dick. And that's my issue, and I'll continue to explore it. But I think the value of this conversation is, are we much more than that? Because if we don't find that we're much more than that, really, what is our gay community
I think this
all
table
about?
is proof that we're much more than that. Just the conversations we're having
Yeah,
is proof of that.
Let's move on and talk about something that's really fun. There's this phrase about gay Christmas. Now, you've heard that phrase. If you don't know what the next words out of my mouth are going to be, you're probably not gay. Gay Christmas means Halloween. That's our gay Christmas. So, it started getting us thinking about Halloween. You know, Halloween is going to be next week, and we're sitting in the gayest place on planet Earth, and they do a big gay event for Halloween and others. We want to first introduce Roger Roa with us as a special guest. He's the director of Wicked Manners. And Wicked Manners is a large gay Halloween, and not exclusively for gay, but a large Halloween event here in Wilton Manors. And Roger, welcome to It's Happening Out.
Thank you, everybody, for having me here. I'm very excited.
Roger, you work with the Pride Center that puts on this event, this big Halloween event, and we're going to talk about Halloween in a moment. But tell us a little bit about Wicked Manners and what you do.
So, Wicked Manners is officially the largest Halloween party in the Southeast United States with over 20,000 people just in the heart of Wilton Manors. I'm the director of development and also the producer of the event. It is, to me, unfortunately, not the best holiday because I have to work. And I don't get to dress up. I don't get to wear the sexy costumes like everybody else
Roger,
does.
I apologize for interrupting because we had you included as a guest shot segment in our opening package, and your little short shorts of Robin kind of prove that you do get to dress up, sir. You do get to dress up. And by the way, By the way, you are probably the sexiest Robin I've ever seen in my life.
Well, thank you, Al. Yes, we actually debuted the theme in June at the Stonewall Parade, and this year's theme is called Game Night. Now, what does that mean? Everyone's asking me. Trust me, I get all these messages. What do I dress up as? Well, it means games, whether it's board games, video games, sex games. It could be any kind of game that you relate to, and you can dress up as your favorite character, like this one right here.
Or as Toad Dick.
So, this year the event starts at 6 p.m. and it is the Pride Center's largest fundraiser. And the Pride Center celebrated its 25th year anniversary this year, and we are the ones that produce the event. We are the ones that put on the event, and the funds from this event go to our programs and services that service over 60,000 people on our 5.5-acre campus here in Wilton Manor.
Roger, I want to ask you about the Wicked Manners event itself. One of the reasons that we're talking about Halloween is Wicked Manners is one of the examples. It happens in Palm Springs, it happens in West Hollywood, it happens in New York and Greenwich in the parade. Why do you think so many gay people in general like to celebrate and why they embrace Halloween so much?
Halloween for our community, the gay community, is more of a opportunity to express yourself. You know, that's why we come up with such amazing themes every year, because we allow the community to just really go crazy with their costumes and allow them to just have fun on the one day of the year that is intended for the gays.
Halloween is created for the gays. What do y'all think about Halloween in terms of its importance in our community?
It's important to gays because it should be, because we get to dress up and we get to be naked. But Halloween is Halloween, okay?
We get to dress up and we get to be naked.
We get to be naked all the time, especially in Fort Lauderdale. I mean, Power's entire arms are exposed right now. I'm super jealous. We can dress up and be who we want to be any time of day if we want to. Let's not take Halloween just for the gays. Halloween is for everybody because it's amazing and it's the
Fantasy
best
Fest
holiday.
in Key West.
It is the best holiday regardless. We still have Christmas. I'm a Jew. I love Christmas. That does not mean that Halloween is our Christmas.
Wait, you're a Jew Republican.
I'm a Jew Republican
Okay,
who
I'm
loves
learning
Christmas
so much
and votes
about you,
Democratic.
Napoleon. All right.
Blowing my mind.
What do y'all think about Halloween?
Well, I think Halloween, everyone thinks of, you get to dress up as something you're not. But I think for a lot of us, we get to dress up as who we really are or wish we were. I know my little gay ass has been David Bowie for Halloween, I don't know how many times. So we get to be what we want to be or what we aspire to be and kind of find ourselves through that.
Yeah, for me, Halloween is meh.
Another working holiday.
Not a big holiday for you?
Look how she dresses on a
People will be
Thursday.
surprised, except for maybe other drag queens. It's not really my favorite holiday, only because Halloween
You're
for me
working.
is every weekend. Or
So
now
you're
every
scary
week.
all year long.
I am.
You're
I'm a scary bitch.
Yeah.
And so, and also the fact is, and I will admit this to be true, I like to stand out. And if it's the one night that everybody looks fabulous. So no matter how you dress, you're always gonna have competition. I don't like that competition. I like to
Wait. Am I hearing that you can't be fabulous if other people are fabulous?
I'm
challenge you to a Halloween
Let me
off.
speak power for you. What you just heard is, if she's not the center of attention, no.
Well, darling, what do you think happens every Thursday night at 8 o'clock here?
All right, right, exactly. Well, Roger, my first time, I've only been here for a little while. I'm coming to Wicked Manners for the first time. I can't wait to see your event. It's a great cause for Pride Center here in Fort Lauderdale. And for all of you around the country that are going to celebrate next week, have a great time. Halloween is our gay Christmas.
and be safe.
Say hello to me. My
And just-
birthday's October 28th.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you guys, and just make sure that you guys, we are doing 3 entry points that are a suggested donation of $5. We have to cover some of our expenses. This event is not cheap. We have ample security to make sure that everyone is safe, but we do have to cover that cost. So make sure that you help us by providing a $5 suggested donation
Roger,
at all the entry
what
points.
we'll do for you is we'll put next week's show before Halloween. We'll put a banner up for that. So thank you very much, Roger, for being with us here.
Thank you for having me.
Next thing that want to talk about is follow-up. Now, as you know, we come back to previous shows, and now we have 4 previous shows that we can come back to and talk about different things. We just want to do a real quick follow-up about what happened that we discussed last week in Orlando, about the cancellation of the show at Parliament House, and Darcel Stevens' decision, and Patty Sheehan, the Orlando City Commissioner, deciding not to participate. We sent a video that we posted and sent to Orlando, inviting both Darcel and Patty to come to the show. And we would like them to come down to Fort Lauderdale if they would like. We gave them that invitation. We said that we would Skype them in if they would like. They could tape their own video message using their phones, or they could write a written statement. We did not receive a reply from either Darcel or Patty, and so we assume that they've said everything that they want to say about our participation. The one thing that we want to say with that note is that we're gay, and we love our community, and we love Come Out with Pride and Orlando, and especially we love the Parliament House. We all believe that the Parliament House in Orlando is the gay heart of that community, and we're very, very supportive of it. And so while we disagree with Darcel Stevens and we disagree with Patty Sheehan's decision, we're still right there with you, and we're part of the gay community, and we will continue to support you and your endeavors. And we wanted to let you know that.
Is there something else that you want to say? I'm just looking at your face right now. It looks like no.
No, I'm very glad to put this to bed.
Yes, okay. Exactly. Okay, next we want to talk about headlines, and there's a couple of big headlines that we do in this segment where we focus on things that are going on in America that brings us really to an all-stop moment. The first is about what's going on in Turkey with the Washington Post writer that has been murdered in the Saudi Arabian consulate in Istanbul. A very interesting message was done by Pat Robertson, who ran for president and is an evangelical minister on the Christian Broadcasting Network. And we want to show you what he said about this issue. Watch this.
The plot thickens on this matter of this Saudi journalist. What happened to him? And what the president is trying to do is to give the Saudis an out. Why? Because our main enemy in the Middle East is Iran. You got one journalist who knows? Was it interrogation? Was he assassinated? Were there rogue elements? Who did it? You've got $100 billion worth of arms sales, which is, that's one of those things. But more than that, we've got to have some Arab allies. We have to have it. We cannot alienate our biggest player in the Middle East, who's a bulwark against Iran. But you don't blow up an international alliance over one person. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, in our headlines, you can see he makes the justification that the murder of an individual does not outweigh $100 billion worth of arms sales abroad. And it seems like it makes a point of tribalism in America, that we can justify almost anything depending on the side that we sit. What do you think about this headline?
Well, I don't think it's really tribalism at all.
Okay, but what do you think about the headline?
The headline, I think it's not looking at it in context, because there's a number of things that are going on in terms of Saudi Arabia's strategic position for us in the Middle East. And you cannot say that position and their being a part of our coalition and dissolving that is worth one individual's life. That's like...
And do you believe that?
I do. Okay. I do. Because you can't, one individual's death does not wipe out a much larger coalition.
I think the point of the headline, though, is do we have a right, or do we have a responsibility, being America, to have some moral high road?
Yes. Absolute responsibility to do that. Do you immediately say, pull $100 million worth or $1 billion worth of defense contracts? That's not necessarily the right response, but there has to be a response.
That's what Pat Robinson's point was. Anybody else?
Yes.
Any other comments?
Yes. I think that what Joe said, that because of one life, it's not feasible to dissolve the relationship between the United States and Saudi Arabia. However, pulling the $100 billion or whatever isn't a dissolution of our relationship. It is a stand. And I don't think that that stand necessarily equates to a dissolution of our relationship with Saudi Arabia, but we need to make a stand. And sometimes doing the right thing is not the easy thing. And this would not be an easy thing to do, but it's the right thing to do, I think.
Well,
I think that this is Trump's, another one of Trump's Helsinki moments.
in terms of the misspeak or missupport.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we're going to do this frequently in our shows about drawing attention to the headlines in the news and how it spills over into all of us and how it affects us. We'll continue to watch what happens in the issues in Saudi Arabia and in Washington.
Without even discussing
we're getting
being
ready
cut up
to
into tiny little pieces.
We're getting. Well, no, I have to move on. We're going to do another game. Time to play another game, and this one I'm looking forward to because champagne's involved, Prosecco. We're going to play Drinks Drink, and before we begin Drinks Drink, let's watch this.
Hey everybody, how you doing? My name is Frank. I'm coming to you from Drink, which is the hottest place in Fort Lauderdale. So right now I'm going to make for you, it's a strawberry cucumber Prosecco. I want to take some fresh strawberries and cucumber, break those up a little bit, muddle it. It's going to be a nice, light, fresh cocktail. We're going to be using Tanqueray for a gin. It's a nice, crisp liquor. We're going to use a wine glass, top it off with some Prosecco. And my secret recipe is Saint Germain. Everyone in the business is going to know Saint Germain is the one thing to go to. Do about a 1 count of that. I like to strain it so you don't get all that stuff in the straw. Top it off with the Prosecco. Nice and pretty. Enjoy that.
All right, doesn't that look delicious? Tonight we're going to be doing our strawberry cucumber Prosecco. Looks great. Now how this works is we ask a question and it's you agree with it or you disagree with it. No speaking, we'll see what happens with it. And if you agree, you pick up and take a sip. If not, you leave your drink on the table. Everybody understand how the game plays? All right, great. First question. We often talk about being size queens, tops, bottoms, etc. So here's the hot take. We in the LGBT community are too shallow and place too many labels on ourselves. Whew. Question 2. We talk about politics. I can name my district House of Representative if you ask me to do it right this second. I could name my representative in Congress. Really? Everybody can? Now that surprises me. Good for y'all. I don't like mine.
That was the representative.
Neither do
not
I.
The drink.
Yeah.
The drink is delicious.
She's a Democrat.
You don't like those either. All right. Question 3, Drinks Drink. It gets a really bad reputation in the gay community, but I like country music. Okay.
It gets a bad reputation. I need another.
Drinks Drink. We want to highlight mental health here on It's Happening Out, and I know this can be a tough subject, so I won't ask you to elaborate, of course, but I have had suicidal thoughts at some point in my life. Wow. Drinks Drink. If I was tapped by Donald Trump, I would take an ambassador role to serve my country.
Tapped.
I guess I believe I can do some good in the world.
Drinks Drink.
Wait a minute, I have to think about that last one.
You would be an ambassador? That's interesting. We're going to talk about that later. Woo! We need you there, Power. The next the next ambassador to some shit.
That's right. That's what I was going to say.
Oh my God!
I'd be Scoochie
Wait, I've got a Scoochie. Right on. All right.
It'd be worth it.
Drink. In a shocking show of defiance to the world, the head of Interpol has been held in China. This is just another symptom of America's lack of leadership in the world.
I don't think I know enough about the topic.
We were excluded.
Drink.
Again.
If I could live forever, I would want to.
Yes.
Wow.
I can't sip it, but it's still true.
I'm looking forward to heaven.
Are you?
Aww.
Drink. Our final one. I have enjoyed Chick-fil-A in the last year.
I know you're all booing because it doesn't have enough gluten-free options, right?
I'm talking lunchtime today, guys.
All right, so that's
Want some
Drink.
gluten-free fried
We
chicken?
remind you, our viewing parties at home, play along with us. The Prosecco and the drink is delicious, and we thank Drink for their participation in it. Well, we're getting ready to close, and we hope you've enjoyed our 5th show. We're celebrating from last week with more than 126,000 of you watching this show. Amazing. We certainly hope that we have been entertaining and informative and educational. But as we told you right at the top, you saw a very important message about what is important about today in standing up against LGBTQ bullying. Before we close, we want to show you an interesting commercial that has been launched by Kellogg's. Watch this. Again, thank you, Kellogg's. What an absolutely awesome message that you are putting out to stand up against LGBTQ bullying in the United States.
It's the cereal version of Love Actually. It's so
Actually,
cute.
that's right. Well, we thank you for joining us tonight. We hope that you'll share us. We remind you that we're going to be back here next Thursday night at 8 p.m. And the most important thing is live. We're going to be live. These guys have a lot to say, and I'm getting the guys right this time.
Appreciate it.
So, on behalf of Power Infinity,
good night, children.
And Aaron Phoenix.
Good night, gender fuckers.
And Joe Brookman.
Good night, family.
And Napoleon Plays.
Good night, Ellen DeGeneres. I want to be on your show. Please invite me.
And my name is Al Ferguson. I want to tell everyone, our gay community is important. And you can be assured, if it affects your gay world or your cultural experience in our gay world, it's happening out. Thank you for joining us. Good night, America.